far that we can go. Life is way too short to take it slow. We know our friendship can only grow. So here we go. It's time, let the adventure begin. Oh, 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 friendship through thick and thin. Oh, 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 let the adventure begin. Oh, 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 so here we go. Let the adventure begin.
Joined at the hip, yeah, your friends are family. We spread the love and I think you'll agree. I look around at the magic friendship can bring. That is why we all sing, so let's go give out a cheer. These are moments that we hold dear. At least we'd rather be than right here.
It's not difficult to show we care. We've got plenty of kindness to share. And we know that nothing could compare. So here we go. It's time, let the adventure begin. Oh, 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 friendship through thick and thin. Oh, 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 let the adventure begin. Oh, 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 so here we go. Let the adventure begin. Friendship through thick and thin. Look all around at the magic friendship can bring, and that is why we all sing before we say goodbye. We have an established goodbye. Possibilities endless the sky, and that, my friends, is exactly why. Let the adventure begin. Oh, 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 friendship through thick and thin. Oh, 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 let the adventure begin. Oh, 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 so here we go. When we work together, we'll succeed, and we'll always help a friend in need. That's how you know we're a friend indeed. So it's free. Let the adventure begin. Friendship through thick and thin. Let the adventure begin. Oh, yeah! This could be 20% cooler.
Not far away, Twilight Sparkle galloped along the untouched upper walls of downtown Ponyville's buildings as if they were level ground. Her horn blazed from the gravity-bending spell, and Spike was clinging to her back between her spread wings, still and silent. Twilight vaulted the chasm that was a side street and skidded to a stop near an abandoned cart on the wall that was the ground. She magicked up the cart and smashed it into a narrow alleyway, wedging it in place and blocking the vile flood's path. She released the spell and flapped onto open ground. Her stance wavered for a moment from the vertigo of realigning up and down.
That's all the major side streets. That should slow it down and buy us a little time.
Time to do what?
Spike huddled on Twilight's back, feeling small and useless. Twilight's expression hardened.
Time to prepare the balloon. We're evacuating Ponyville.
Spike's emerald green eyes widened.
But Twilight! We don't have a choice. The sludge is spreading too fast. Lightning Dust was right. We need to run and find somewhere safe so we can figure out what to do. We'll airlift as many as we can in the balloon. The Pegasi will carry out as many others as possible, and I'll enchant them so they can stand on the clouds.
Spike's lip quivered.
What about every pony else? What about Rarity?
He wrung his tail in his claws.
Twilight?
Twilight looked down the abandoned, barricaded street, but made no reply. On the outskirts of town, Fluttershy flapped her wings and strained against the weight of the brown bear above her.
Everybody on?
Fluttershy said through gritted teeth. She gave another heave, and the bear finished his ascent. The job was done. A moment later, the sweating Pegasus felt her overworked left wing clench and spasm after an off flap. A sprain. Fluttershy fell to the ground, writhing and whimpering in pain. The tide of purple corruption approached. Some of the animals chatted amongst themselves, and several raced over the edge of the roof. Angel Bunny took the lead. Fluttershy squirmed around to look up at them. She frowned.
No! Don't you dare come down for me! You stay where you are! All of you! Stay!
The animals froze in shock. Angel begged with his eyes.
Stay!
She was still staring when the slime reached her. On Sugar Cube Corner's top floor, Carrot Cake's hooves skidded on the floor as the encroaching slime bashed against the door. He adjusted his stance and leaned harder against the cracked wood. Separated from the majority of its mass by the trip up the stairs, the slime wave was weaker than its wall-rupturing brethren below. But the door was thin, and Carrot's gangly yellow frame made a poor blockade.
Please, Celestia,
Carrot silently begged.
let them get away. I don't care what happens to me. Please, just let them get away.
Ugly!
An incongruously squeaky explosion sounded in the distance, and a blur of pink arced down to strike ground in front of the besieged bakery. The Cakes stared out of the upstairs window in confusion. Pinkie Pie fixed her stance and looked up through the rain of sprinkles and confetti that had accompanied her party cannon-powered flight.
Hey!
She bellowed at the sludge flooding her home.
You wanna pick on ponies? Then pick on Pinkie Pie, punk!
She waved her tail and blew an echoing raspberry. Cupcake leaned out of the bakery's window.
Pinkie, no!
Pinkie ignored her.
You're making ponies all sad and floppy, huh? Bet you can't stop this!
She unleashed a smile a few degrees wider than her head. The bare eyeballs speckling every patch of slime turned to face her, and the amorphous mass slowly seeped out of the bakery and into the street. Pinkie capered to and fro, waving her balloon-marked rump at the blob.
Nya-nya!
She hopped farther away from the bakery. The slime gathered itself up and extruded an arm-like wave wider than Pinkie was tall. She moved to dodge, but the wave splattered when it missed and soaked her in purple. The impact knocked her off her hooves. Cupcake screamed from the window. Carrot, watching from behind her, turned away.
Sweet Celestia, no. I meant my whole family, including her.
The slime withdrew and shifted to return to the bakery. But then a voice made it pause.
You're gonna have to do better than that.
Pinkie was struggling to get back on her hooves. Her knees wobbled, but she stood, and her broad smile split the muck staining her face. A ripple of something not unlike irritation passed through the slime. It pulled away from the bakery once more and raised up a fresh pseudopod.
I'm feeling fine. It's not so bad. Just kind of smelly.
The second wave smashed down on her. When it withdrew, she was flat on her back, completely coated. The slime's lidless eyes somehow managed to widen when Pinkie spat out a mouthful of muck and turned onto her side. She coughed and retched and spat out an eyeball as she staggered back upright.
What? All this pudding and no sprinkles?
The slime wave hit her again. Her knees buckled, but she righted herself. Her smile returned.
You're not so good at this, are you? I'm not even grumpy.
It hit her again. Pinky sobbed, and tears cut through the purple splatters on her cheeks. Her hooves skated on the slime until she slammed into a public trough. Her smile returned.
I think you missed a spot.
It hit her again. The trough cracked. Pinky whimpered through her gritted teeth. She leaned heavily against the trough's remains, straining to raise her head under the weight of her sludge-sodden mane. The slime on her flanks sizzled and bubbled over her cutie mark. And her smile returned. She narrowed her bloodshot eyes at the largest slime mass and coughed out a chuckle.
This isn't working. If you aren't gonna try harder, you might as well turn tail and run right now.
Her eyes darted upward for a moment and met Mrs. Cake's.
You hear me? Run!
The slime was furious now. The bakery was forgotten. The bubbling muck pounded the purpled pink party pony with layer after layer of liquid horror, knocking her back down whenever she tried to move. Pinky cackled hysterically, writhing under the onslaught like a worm on a hook. Through her choking, half-sobbed laughter, she shouted again and again.
Run! 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 Run!
The Cakes galloped out the bakery's front door. The shadow of Twilight Sparkle's hot air balloon fell over the Cakes, and behind them all was silence.